Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 7. Perhaps another pivotal game week coming up after what was, frankly, a just strange game week. It was pretty incredible. You either did seemingly really well or very, very badly. One of those ones. Abdul, to be fair, I say that, you had a very small green.
Yeah. It was like the smallest screen you could imagine. It was like 85k green. So I went from 1.8 million to 1.8 million, really. You could probably call it a grey arrow. But you know what? I was happy with that because I bought in Botman, who, rewarded me with a goal straight away. And I did see some really low scores, like in the 40s and 50s. So I was just really glad, I kind of kept pace and I didn't get punished too badly this week.
It's just one of those crazy weeks, I think, where there were maybe 8 or 9 players that just did unbelievably well. And if you had, your week was just dependent on how many of those hauling players you had, really. And I mean, to be fair, yeah, Son, Botman, Saka, Fernandez, having 4 there is good enough to kind of maintain your rank. Now, Abdul, before we have a look at your team for the upcoming game week, a lot of decisions to be made there. I do just want to quickly mention that this is the final week. This is the last few days in which Fantasy Football Hub's amazing offer, win your mini league or get your entire money back, a full refund, is going on. After September, that is no longer a deal. It's very, very simple. Sign up to the site, and if you do not win your mini league, you get all your money back, no matter what tier level you sign up to. Crazy deal. Take advantage of it. Link is down below. As I said, only going on for a few more days. But with that being said, let's have a look at your team for Game Week 7. Chat to me just off the bat, your initial thoughts.
Well, I'll let you know, first of all, that I made an early transfer already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I actually made this transfer on Sunday night, and it's like the first time I've made such an early transfer in about 5 seasons or something.
Wow.
But yeah, so I already took out Chilwell for Trippier. And the reason I'd done that was because I had exact money for that move. It was something in the last 2 weeks I was planning on bringing in Trippier, but then I got kind of distracted by Son, and then this week, I got in Botman instead. But it was a move which I think, it was inevitable. So I thought, I'm going to make that move. Chilwell was falling in price, and Trippier was rising in price, so I would have been priced out. And Trippier is somebody I really want over the next 4 game weeks, before I wildcard. And as you know, I always wait until, like 98% of the time to the end of the game week before I make the transfer. But I just thought the alternative, if I was priced out, I would have been like Shar or Dallo or something like that instead. Yeah. I didn't think they were anywhere near as good as Trippier. So I weighed up and I just thought, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to risk it. And then what else was in the back of my mind as well was obviously Saka, because we saw he was limping at the end of the North London derby, and I thought, okay, if he could be injured. So I did, and I think we just had
just before we jumped on to record, we're recording this on Tuesday or evening now. Yeah, news has broke that Arteta has said that Saka so far has been unable to train since that game, but obviously it's still early in the week. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I reckon he'll play personally. I'm calling it early. Hasn't missed the game for, I don't know, decades it seems. What do you think?
Yeah, So the reason I kind of took that risk was because he's always kind of limping after the game because he has got this ongoing Achilles problem, right? So I don't know if it's that or whether it's something else, but I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. If he doesn't play, I thought at the time when I was making the move, if worst comes to worst and Saka is injured, then I probably would have taken the hit anyway. If I kept Trippier, because otherwise I'd be banking on a Chilwell to start, and either having to play Udogie or Archer, which isn't the best this game week. So I kind of thought that it was probably a high chance I would have taken the hit anyway. So even if I make that early move and Saka's out, I'll probably take the hit. So it would have been a hit either way. So I took all that in consideration and thought, okay, I'll go for it. So I went for the early move. And if Saka's out, there's quite a few replacements there. I could go in Maddison a week early. Yeah. Bowen for the next 3. He's got Sheffield United at home, but then they've got Newcastle and Villa after that. With Bowen, you never know. He could get tons of those fixtures, and even Raheem Sterling for the next 2.
Don't say that. Don't say that. He's on my list of players to sell. Oh
well,
no.
The thing is, I think Sterling would be the only kind of Chelsea player I'd keep if I had them. There's probably a chance he plays up front against Fulham as well because Jackson's out, and I think Pochettino said today as well that Broja's not really kind of up to speed yet in terms of his fitness. So yeah, it could be another Raheem Sterling.
I don't even know if that's a good thing these days. Of whoever's up front is just, we look so toothless. Okay, so Trippier is in. It's worth mentioning as well, everyone watching, that although it says that Abdul has minus 0.2 in the bank, that's because of that swing. That's why you had to do it. Gaining 0.2 and not just, the month, well, not gaining 0.2, gaining Trippier, which is huge. Yeah, I think if, for those of you that have watched all our videos across, this, not just this season, but last season as well, and maybe followed Abdul as well on Twitter or just historically on Fantasy Football Hub, you'll know that Abdul does not move because of price changes very often. So only really when you're going to get, to be honest, I can't actually remember you ever doing that. So it makes sense this week because you're going to get priced out of an excellent asset for one that, we don't even know if he's going to play anymore. So it makes sense to me. Estupiñán to start then over Udogie?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that Liverpool game is going to be high scoring, Jack. I think both teams, if you look at the attack, Spurs never defend. They go out to attack every game. We see that against Arsenal. They're not going to change their approach against Liverpool. And then that's going to be a high scoring game. Udogie could get attacking returns. I don't think he'll keep the clean sheet, but I think Estupiñán could get attacking returns also, but I think he's got a higher chance of keeping a clean sheet than Udogie this week. So my bench at the moment is going to be Archer, Udogie, and Baldock, who I think is still injured.
Yeah. To be fair, for Baldock owners that who knows, he wouldn't have come on anyway because he didn't play, but every other Sheffield United defender pretty much ended up with negative points last week. So a net zero for Baldock, actually not bad for his overall score. Not that really matters. So the defence looking really good. Pickford, obviously disappointed this season, but 2 good fixtures now. No need to sell him, I suspect. Yeah. And then to be fair, that those 4 playable defenders look really solid. It's the midfield where I want to ask you some questions. Now, it looks good, right, on paper, as this midfield has done for a number of weeks now. But are there any concerns for you over... let's talk about Rashford first. Good fixtures, are they? And what is going on with his form? It's really not actually done too much this season in terms of FPL points for his 9 million price, or now 8.9 million. What are your thoughts?
He's not been the best. He's only got a goal and 2 assists. But I think it's more. I've got other kind of bigger fires to put out really. And Rashford, I think with the fixtures, Crystal Palace, Brentford, and Sheffield United next. I don't think kind of attacking wise you could probably ask for much more. Palace are actually a good defensive team, but then Brentford and Sheffield United are good attacking, attacking fixtures. But obviously with Palace, with United being at home against Palace, they're going to be strong favourites. So I like their fixtures, Jack, and I just think with kind of proven FPL players, like we've seen with Bruno as well, we kind of stuck with him and he's kind of repaid my faith. I'm hoping Rashford does the same. He is a proven FPL player, and it's been kind of seen over time that when you stick with them, when you stick with good players, over the good fixtures, they will repay your faith. And I'm to be honest, I'm quietly confident with Rashford and in my United assets, because the thing is, I think when Amrabat comes back in, I think that's really going to stabilise United, both at the back and going forward as well. So I think he got a few minutes last game week, and I'm hoping he starts this game week, and then we can really see what kind of impact he's going to make. But I just think the fixtures are there for United. I don't see them as must sells just now. The only player I'd sell Bruno and Rashford for right now would be Salah. If I had if I had enough funds to go direct from them to Salah, then that's fine. Otherwise, I'd keep.
So let's talk about Salah. Any plans to get him manually, or will he be coming in on a wild card, or maybe not at all? Let's talk about Salah first, but then I want to open this up to talk about just kind of the structure of our teams in general, and which sort of premium players we're going to have to avoid, and who you might be avoiding. So first of all, Salah plans.
I don't think I'm going to bring in Salah with my free transfers. I think he probably will end up coming in a game week 9 or 10 wild card, because I just don't see it with right now. I possibly could bring him in game week 9 if I'm able to save in game week 8, with a double transfer. Maybe take out, if I've still got Saka, maybe take out Saka to Diaby, and then maybe upgrade Bruno to Salah or something like that. But from now until game week 9, there's only 3 or 4 transfers, or game week 10. So it's going to be tough. I'm happy to go with Salah. So I'm happy to go without Salah until game week, until I wildcard in game week 9 or 10. I think the fixtures are there for my other midfielders. Would I like to have Salah right now? Yeah, I mean, if I was wildcarding today, of course I'd have him. But just with the way my team is structured, it's a bit hard to get him in with free transfers. So I'm happy to wait until I wildcard.
Okay, and then on kind of the premium players overall. Obviously, this week was anomalous in the sense that they seemingly all did really well, pretty much apart from Rashford. When you do eventually end up wildcarding, out of all those players, who do you think you're not going to go for? I don't think it's going to be very challenging, obviously, to have Haaland, Salah, Son, Maddison, Bruno probably as well, Trippier at the back. Maybe you want another Liverpool player in there as well. Obviously, we're not on a wildcard week yet for your team, but for managers out there that perhaps don't have game week 9, 10, 8 in their mind for a wildcard and are looking to get towards a sort of optimal team anyway.
Yeah.
Which of those players do you think you would probably avoid in order to get Salah in?
I think Saka can go soon because after. I mean, I'm not just saying even if he's fit, he's got City in game week 8 and then Chelsea in game week 9. So then they've got Newcastle in game week 11. So Saka could go. I think he'll go for me and many other managers quite soon as well. I think after that, it'd probably be out of. I think I would sacrifice Trippier before any of Son or Bruno or possibly even Rashford. Yeah, because I mean once we get to game week 10, they've got Arsenal. And Chelsea, Man United, from game week 10 to 14. So, I mean, Newcastle, could possibly keep clean sheets in them games. Trippier could get attacking returns, but I'd rather, stick to the kind of big hitting midfielders. I just think Trippier from now until game week 10 is a fantastic option because of how good the fixtures are. So, Trippier can be sacrificed. Saka could be. But the thing is, see, the thing with FPL as well, there's just so much that could change from now. I mean, look, 2 game weeks ago, we were all had triple Chelsea.
Yeah.
The fixtures were there, and then 2 weeks from now they're like, everyone hates Jackson, Chilwell's dropped, so much can change in 2 or 3 game weeks. So I think you need to assess it when you're actually going to wildcard. If I was to wildcard today, like for game week 7 or 8, then Saka would probably be the one to go. But I think once I get to game week 9 or 10, it would probably be Trippier and Saka and possibly even a Rashford. The one that would be making way, and then I'd go for possibly Haaland, Son, and Bruno as my kind of premiums. That's where the mind is at the moment. But again, as I said, Jack, when game week 10 comes around, it could all change.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot because I agree. I'm seeing a lot of people saying on Twitter, especially at the moment, and in content as well, that a player like Salah, for example, isn't essential. Do we need to wildcard just to get Salah in? But I feel like maybe people are more inclined to say that because of this week in particular. And of course, when you have loads of other players that are matching or outscoring Salah, it's easy to say that. But Salah consistently for the last 5 years has been the best FPL asset, and maybe it's a little bit too short term or kind of recency bias to say that he's not essential.
Exactly. Just look at his consistency. He's the only player who's returned in every single fixture so far this season.
Yeah.
He's got 5, 5, 5, 8, and then 2 10s back to back, right? That's what you get with Salah. You just get pure consistency, right? And those who started with Salah have actually done really well. And I think those who are kind of, maybe on the fence with Salah, I think once game week 9 comes around and they see Liverpool's fixtures, I think they'll probably change their mind because obviously Everton at home, Forest at home, Luton, Brentford, and then they got City obviously, which is top, but then they've got Fulham, Sheffield United. They've got a fantastic run. I mean, I don't care, if you're. If I don't captain Salah, in those fixtures,
okay,
I'm happy having him because that'll be wildcarding, and I can build the team around which structure I want, and I'll get the best players up until that point.
So you think the value in Salah is still there, despite the fact that, well, I mean, you could captain him, of course. I mean, at least if you have him in, you have that option. Who knows what will happen to Haaland? And Haaland he has some tough games coming up. I mean, Arsenal away, tough game. The Tottenham options are probably going to be the ones that perhaps we look at there. But even later on, United away, by that point, United could be a much more solid team. Chelsea away, I mean, this is a long way in the future, but we kind of have to think of these things now to enable these decisions later on.
Oh, definitely, because if you look from game week 8 to game week 13, right, Arsenal away, right, you can possibly look outside Haaland there. Brighton at home, you probably would captain Haaland. Man United away, you can possibly, look elsewhere. And then they got Chelsea away and Liverpool at home in 12 and 13. So those are all game weeks in which, you could captain Haaland. He's still a good option, but there are other options there. Like, for example, game week 8, Spurs have got Luton. So you might want to go for, obviously, Son, Maddison, maybe. Game week 9, they've got. I think I'd probably still captain Haaland game week 9 when they've got Brighton, but Spurs have got Fulham at home. So you could possibly, and then Salah's got Everton at home. So the options are there. I mean, if you go up until in game week 12, there are good options, good alternatives when Haaland has the tough fixtures. So it's going to be an interesting period, that I think. I think it's going to be a big split between those who are kind of faithful to Haaland and those who kind of look to gain rank elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those, isn't it? Because the easy move every week is to captain Haaland, but we've seen it in multiple weeks already this season. Yes, sometimes he's got unlucky with, his own poor finishing has cost him an absolute haul. I'm thinking against West Ham in particular, but last week as well, Salah outscored him by a healthy amount. I think that's a very, very solid captain if you went for it. It's not a guarantee each week that you have to captain Haaland, although admittedly it is scary. But premium players with better fixtures, that has to be an option.
Yeah, I think that's what you've got to bank on, because with Haaland, you've got to bank on him missing chances, because he's going to get chances every game. You're going to have to bank on him having a game like at West Ham or Forest where he misses a majority. If you're really lucky, he blanks. And if you're kind of semi-lucky, he only gets 1 goal and 6 points, whereas your player haul is really big. So that's the gamble, and I think that's what makes it really interesting, is because his tough fixtures are coming up, and it's not like one tough fixture; it's like a run. It's like 5 or 6 games. So yeah, I guess we'll see. And I think it's really good for FPL, Jack, because from the start of the season, a lot were complaining about Haaland being the perma captain, and he kind of making it like a 10-man game, but. Yeah, I guess we'll see now.
Yeah, going to be interesting. Finally, for this week, I do want to ask you about the double. And just if you're giving that even 5% thought. Alvarez came in for you last week. Is he going out for Morris? I suspect chance. He's probably not, but no chance. I'll ask anyway.
Yeah, no chance. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, the reason I bought an Alvarez last week because I'd made the decision that I'm not going to go with any, double game week players. If I hadn't, then I would have saved with Jackson and bought him in for Morris this week. But no, I'm not bringing him in. I think obviously those who have Jackson, Jack, it's a no-brainer. Bring in Morris, possibly even captain him. I guess it's worth a punt, because Luton have been terrible, and Morris, his non-pen XG is like 0.15. His XA is 0.16, which is terrible, but they do have the fixtures, and all you need is one penalty over those 2 game weeks, and it's probably paid off. So it really depends on what players you have. But if I had if you've got an Alvarez or a Watkins, I'd probably stick with them. If you've got Jackson, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's the I think if he does get a penalty, he's guaranteed the bonus, because you can't really see Luton. I mean, unless they get battered, you can't really see Luton keeping a clean sheet in either game. Really, I say that as someone that's going to be starting Kabore, but yeah, it's one of those one return, 1 penalty, 11 points. You're delighted. So if someone like a Jackson, it is a pretty easy move, and then you can just come off in the week after if you really want to. But yeah, I can't really get behind or even give even a second of worth of thought to this double, really. Luton and Burnley, 2 of the worst teams in the league. It's a strong avoid from me, that is for sure. Now, no AI transfers for you this week, my friend, because you've already made one.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to be making another one. Just if Saka was to be out and you were going to make that hit, first of all, would you do that hit? And secondly, who would it be for at the time of recording?
Yeah, I think I would, because I said at the start was that I think I would have taken the hit in both situations, right? Because if I don't, then I'm going to have to play Archer or Doggy against, and those are 2 fixtures where I think, West Ham away is tough. You're probably looking at 2 points for Archer and 2 or 1 points for the Doggies. So yeah, I mean, if Saka was ruled out, I'd probably maybe go for a Maddison there. I can bring that move 1 week forward. Possibly even Bowen as a punt, because I'm going to be wildcarding in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And, your boy Sterling as well, possibly. You might be playing up front. with Jackson out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few options there, and it kind of makes it a bit of fun as well because because I know I'm wildcarding in the next few
Yeah.
weeks. I want to take some like kind of dead end moves, trying to catch that upside as well. So yeah, let's see what happens.
That is a good thing about knowing when you're going to wildcard is that you really can go for some exciting picks with no real downside because they're going to be gone anyway. I don't know if I'm maybe being a little bit silly. In my mind, I'm trying to just get through this entire period without wildcarding, which would mean avoiding Salah. And that did not go well for me last season. That's my personal initial thinking. But yeah, when you have to avoid players like Trippier and stuff like that who've done so well, I'm like, why do I really want to do that just for one player? Maybe it's the sensible decision. It was last year.
I mean, the thing is, by game week 10, Trent will be back and he might be an option. He might be the one.
Yeah.
Banging in goals and assists. So as I said, so much can change in the next few weeks.
Very true.
You can just maybe take it if you're not planning to wildcard in game week 9 or 10. I think just play it in one game week at a time and assess, and then you can always just pull it at a whim as well because I mean once you get past game week 10, you've only then you need to use it by game week 19 anyway. So you can just kind of use it at short notice as well.
There we go. Food for thought anyway. But there it is. One transfer already made. Beating the price fall and price rise looks good. It is one of the, I think that Newcastle defenders, if not now, are we swerving them? Because as you mentioned, you wouldn't have them probably on wildcard, or you wouldn't have Trippier at least on wildcard game week 10 as the fixtures get a lot harder. Do you think this is kind of the last chance to get on them this week with West Ham away the week after?
I think so, because then they got West Ham and then they got Palace and Wales, which are great fixtures.
Yeah.
But possibly, yeah. I think this is the week to bring in the Newcastle defender, which is why I was so keen to bring in Trippier. Yeah. For those next 4 games up until game week 10, and it gets a bit tougher after that. So I guess so. I think if you don't bring in the Newcastle defenders in this week or next week, you probably could go without them.
Okay then, that's going to do it for this one. Yeah, I mean we'll wait and see on Saka news because obviously that will impact your second transfer if you decide to do it or not, and obviously who for. Again, as always with these videos and these game week previews, just loose plans as it stands right now. Final team reveals are posted every week by all our guests on Fantasy Football Hub. Sign up now, next few days, and if you do not win your mini league this season, you will get all your money back. That's the last time I'm ever going to say that this season anyway. So you got to do it, guys. You got to do it. There's no downside. It's completely free if you don't win your mini league. And let's be honest, a lot of you probably will win stuff from your mini leagues anyway, although it might be against TOS, but let's just be completely frank. So it's a win-win, is what I'm going to say. Abdul, thank you very much as always. And good luck this game week and good luck to all of you guys as well.
You too.